I welcome the opportunity in speaking on the budget. First of all, I think, like most deputies, in relation to carers or our elderly, we welcome the increases for those people, and childcare supports are welcome, and the 2,000 basically before you go into the higher tax bracket is welcome. These are things that I don't think anyone will go again. But the only problem is that today is a day where a government has a lot of money. We saw days that we hadn't a fraction of it in 2013 or 14 or 15. And when you spend money, you need to spend it wisely. Obviously, all those things that I've mentioned that needed money. I see, I'm going through some of the budgets there, and I hope for disabilities and for children with autism, we are seeing major problems around this country. I hope there's a budget, and we're trying to go through all the figures at the moment, and I hope, and for mental health, I hope there is budgets increased to try and help those people in society. The other side of this budget is that, we do need infrastructure, and anybody for, be it roads or for rail or for, I see Irish Water has got $1 billion. I think that's sort of for day-to-day running, but $1 billion for the amount of houses we're on about building is like peanuts to a monkey, because if we're on about building the amount of houses, the sewer and the water that we need to put in, and the infrastructure of roads and all of that, it's not going to cover what is required. And that's right around the country, because we have a lot of areas that need upgrading in sewerage. And, I heard someone today on the radio saying, with all this money, how do we spend it? Well, the facts are, over the last 6 months, 350 workers have been let go by 2 of the companies that do sewers and water for Irish Water, because they had no money to spend. That's it. No ifs or buts about it. So we're coming from 6 months ago, where all them people were let go because the budget was gone. And if that continues, then you won't be, we can talk about all, and we can put all the money we want towards housing, but at the end of the day, if you don't have that, the beginning of it in place, you're not going to get it done. The parts of the budget where I see a vision, we need a vision of where we're going. We need to build a vision for the youth of this country. It has been said on numerous occasions, I think there's 100,000 youngsters under 40 owned houses 10, 15 years ago than there does now. More. There's 100,000 less people today under 40 owns their house. And that's a frightening stat, because they can't afford it. And we can have all the money in the world, but no more than what I would say the HSE. You could throw all the money in the world into the HSE, in my opinion. But if you don't have good managers to manage things, and if you don't get value for money, then you're wasting money. It's like throwing into a bonfire on the 23rd of June. Because we have seen, and it was before your time, I will say that, Minister, the likes of the modular homes. If a modular home is costing $445,000 for a half a house, let's call it what it is, a half a house, it's 600 square foot. A house in Dublin is smaller than down the country. It's about between 1050 and 1200 square foot. And we think they're dear, and by God they are, but I think around 600,000 will buy you one of them. But if we're gone to a modular bit of a house, a half a house, and join the two together to make what we have in Dublin, we're at nearly 900,000, we're as well give up on it, because it's like throwing money into a bonfire. It's just absolutely disgusting to see that happening in Ireland. I remember bringing a company out to Coolock to the Minister, Darragh O'Brien. They were able to bring them from Germany, and they were able to supply them at between 70 and 80,000. And let no one tell me that the groundworks won't be done on that. And bear in mind, the site has been supplied by councils around the country. Like, we're better build the right house than this crack we're going on with. And someone has to call stop to this type of waste. Because in my opinion, for that 445, we should be having 3 of them, not 1. And if we keep going down that road, it's like winning the lotto and losing your head and going off. People won the lotto and they ran out of money. That's the problem. And we're doing the same thing. There's no bit of value for money or accountability. No more than that hospital down the road. Like, everyone can give out about it. But the bottom line on it is, we've given a contract that's saying it's a license to print money for the contractor. And we can give out about it and whatever we want, that's it. And you'll hear them saying there's this, that and the other to be done. Once you put in deviations into something, if you have someone that's able to draw something right, say this is what we want, that's it, or else put in a design and build, and that's it. Fixed price, goodbye, or you're gone. The other part about this budget, as Minister, is the agricultural sector. In a day that we had billions for thrown around the place, I was looking at the agriculture, the estimates there, and there's about 100 million, but some of them are regurgitated things. There is a bit for sheep, there's a bit for the forgotten farmer, there's a bit for the calf welfare scheme. Just small money, 5 million, 10 million, 8 million. We heard a few months ago, I saw a few weeks ago, below at the ploughing, Jesus, politicians I used to see on TikTok, they were putting their arms around the farmers. They were the greatest things since the sliced pan, when they could see 200,000 of them when there's an election coming up. But today they got their answer. They got the kick in the ass from this government that they did not respect farmers. When you look at that budget that's there today, actually wages in the department is up 10%. It's something like 30 million and running costs and all that. And that's fine. I don't have a problem. But at the end of the day, when you look at the money that is being kicked around here today, the farming sector, we have nothing done for the suckler herd that's fallen 40,000 cows. We have damn all done for the sheep sector, where 6% is down. Have we any vision for young farmers in this country? But you know what we'll do for them? We'll give them a few small bits, but you know what we'll do? We'll raise the carbon tax to make sure that when they're going out with the tractor, where there's no electric one, we'll screw them a bit more. And that's not the way to treat the agricultural sector. We also, Minister, in the farming or in the agricultural sector, they talked about this 5-year taxation thing, and I agree with it. But the thing about it is, what do we write today? We're going to set up a crowd that will go looking at this and 2025 budget. Well, do you know what? I think there's an election before that, is there? And it all depends. That's gone out the window, depending on a programme for government. So, the land rezoning, I welcome the way you're going doing that. I agree with that. You don't get butter bus heads your bread, and that's been very blunt about it. But I agree with that. The farmers that want a farm should be left farming, and I agree with that 100%. But it's a very, very disappointing day when we see that, I don't know, is it something like 5.5 million farmers in 15 years has gone out of Europe. Farms. And to see today, when we had an opportunity of giving a bit of a light to youngsters in farming, to try and get them into it and get it more productive and give an incentive to older farmers to retire. Do we want a farmer to be just going from the farm to the church? That's what we're looking at. Because you want to keep them working like the hell all their life. In every other job you can retire, but unfortunately in that, there hasn't been a retirement scheme brought in. And I think it's a disappointing day for the whole agriculture sector. I know there's a bit for the grain men, but you look at the price of grain today, everyone is talking about that we're importing stuff. Well, if we don't want to import it, let's get our own to grow it, and let's give them the incentive to grow it, because that's how you do it. To the people that's growing grain right around the country. I will be talking, I think, in the next few days about more on it. I want to let Joan talk now. Thank you, Ken Gordon.